Bitcoin hits a new high due to favorable news, and the risk of bull crowding increases. Is there any chance that Bitcoin will reach 120,000? From Bitcoin to the Big Five, Truth Social is targeting the ETF market. The hip-hop king made a move, the founder of Telegram called for an order, and the NFT Ice Age suddenly saw a warm current. Ant International denies working on central bank digital currency. Is this really a dead end, or are they just keeping a low profile for now? BNB's new financial company has hidden secrets. Is Binance a layout or a gamble?
On Friday, July 11th, BitcoinTV English channel, Where is the Coin Chain? I am Michael. Let's start with the 24-hour data headlines of the currency circle. In the past 24 hours, the United States has intensively released favorable regulatory policies for stablecoins, driving the crypto market to soar. Bitcoin broke through $110,000 last night, reaching a high of $116,950, up more than 6% in a single day, and the Fear and Greed Index rose to 72. Federal Reserve officials Musalem and Walla both supported stablecoins, saying that this thing can help the US dollar become more powerful in the world. The US Treasury Department also made trouble and cancelled the regulations on DeFi brokers reporting user information, which was a nod to the privacy faction. At the same time, the Genius Act and the Clarity Act were rapidly advancing. The Trump administration seems to want to use stablecoins to push the US dollar's prestige onto the international stage, and may also help Trump's family business to get some benefits. Funds are pouring in like crazy. On July 10th, Bitcoin spot ETFs had a net inflow of $1.1726 billion, and Ethereum also attracted $383 million, both hitting short-term highs. If legislation goes smoothly, Bitcoin is expected to rise again, but don't forget to be careful of a correction when all the positive news is exhausted. According to CoinGlass data, the total open interest of Bitcoin futures on the entire network has soared to 701,300 Bitcoins, equivalent to $81.47 billion, breaking the historical record. CME holds 154,200 Bitcoins and is firmly in the lead, followed by Binance with 116,800 Bitcoins. This means that leveraged funds are piling up in the market. Everyone is betting, and the long-short fight is more intense than a boxing match. The Bitcoin price and open interest are surging together, indicating that real money is entering the market. The bulls are all squeezed together, and the market is definitely more prone to ups and downs. But the risks are not small. High leverage is like burying a bomb. Once the market reverses, it may trigger a chain of liquidations. It is recommended that bulls stay calm, pay attention to funding rates and liquidation risks, and don't hold heavy positions when the market is at its peak. If funds continue to flow in, Bitcoin may hit $120,000, but the fluctuations will only be more intense. In the past 24 hours, the total liquidation of the entire network reached $1.136 billion, setting a new high in this round of market, of which short orders accounted for $1.018 billion, which can be called a short stampede. Bitcoin's liquidation of $593 million was the worst, and Ethereum also exploded $241 million. In just 12 hours, $1.022 billion were exploded, and short orders accounted for $940 million. It can be seen that the shorts did not withstand the sharp pull of the market at all. Now the market sentiment is simply crazy, and the volatility changes at any time. Looking at the liquidation map, Bitcoin is now around $116,487 with little resistance above, and it is considered to have broken out of the short-selling concentrated area in the short term. There are two lines of defense below. There are $5.279 billion of long orders near $110,000 and $10.9 billion at $106,000. The bulls are steady. But next, either continue to hit $120,000 or suddenly come with a pin. quickly stepping back to wash the overheated emotions. In short, the bulls have the upper hand for now, but this wave of market is bound to be volatile. Short-term players should take it easy. Don't blindly chase highs and don't try to buy at the bottom. After all, no one wants to experience the feeling of forced liquidation again. Please like and follow us to sort out the latest developments in the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and mining circles within 24 hours. Click the little bell to join the channel and become a member. You can get the Member Wealth Code from Monday to Friday. It's been very lively in the United States recently. From the president to SEC, the chairman has changed, and the attitude towards the crypto industry has also changed. On the one hand, the supervision has been relaxed, and on the other hand, the infrastructure construction has been accelerated. Bitcoin Spot ETF and Ethereum Spot ETF have passed the review one after another, and now even Solana, SOL, and Avalanche, AVAX, are lining up to become ETF stars. The loosening of policies, coupled with the desperate influx of traditional financial circles, has allowed crypto assets to rush from a niche circle to the mainstream stage. It is simply the rhythm of a historical turning point. In this drama, the most eye-catching person is still Trump. He has made new moves recently, and it seems that he wants to make his presence felt in the crypto circle.
You have those policies that may be reflationary, but also the potential for lesser regulation. So just a significant amount of capital that was deployed into the equity exposures in the ETF marketplace.
Trump's media platform Truth Social recently applied to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to launch a crypto blue chip ETF, which plans to track 5 mainstream cryptocurrencies and list them on the New York Stock Exchange. Truth Social said that this ETF will not be registered as a registered investment company, nor is it a commodity pool, so it is not regulated by the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The ETF will be issued and redeemed through authorized brokers to ensure that the price closely follows the spot cryptocurrency and will not decouple.
Don't think this is the first time Truth Social has touched ETF. In fact, as early as June 16th, they had already applied to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to launch a spot ETF that tracks both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Crypto.com will be responsible for hosting, with Bitcoin accounting for 75% and Ethereum accounting for 25%, allowing investors to use one ETF to simultaneously deploy the two major currencies. The US SEC officially accepted the application on July 7th and entered the review process. Recently, the Trump family has been making constant moves in the crypto circle, but some people outside are also guessing, is this a serious layout, or is it just a way to take advantage of the heat? In the final analysis, it really depends on one's own opinion. This year's NFT market is so cold that it is almost frozen. It has been falling for 5 consecutive quarters. The transaction volume in the second quarter of this year was only $823 million, which was nearly 80% lower than the $4 billion in the same period of 2024. However, there are some bright spots. The number of transactions has rebounded from the miserable 7 million at the beginning of the year to 12.5 million. Just when everyone was shouting that NFT was not working, American hip-hop boss Snoop Dogg went to the TON chain to make a wave of NFTs. The new series was online for only 30 minutes, and it sold nearly 1 million, directly dropping a bomb in the dead market. Many people in the industry said that perhaps this is the beginning of a new story of NFT.
American hip-hop singer Snoop Dogg recently launched a series of personal-style NFTs on Telegram, totaling about 996,000 pieces, and issued them on the TON blockchain. Telegram founder Pavel Durov immediately announced on the X platform that the series of NFTs were sold out in just 30 minutes after they were put on the shelves, with sales reaching $12 million. To coincide with the release, Snoop Dogg simultaneously released a new song GIFs and MV, and all NFT patterns were also displayed in the MV.
People in the back trying to get to the front, but I don't think that they gon' make it past the door. And if you a real fan, hit me on the gram and I can slide you into the show.
The NFTs that Snoop Dogg created this time are not simple. There are retro cars, trendy bags, and even himself transformed into a Doberman. Of course, there are small items related to marijuana, which are all in his hip-hop style. Although these NFTs are just animated pictures, they are not only used as handsome avatars, but can also be directly exchanged for Telegram's own cryptocurrency stars, which has quite fancy functions. As a result, it became a hot topic as soon as it went online. Many netizens and people on YouTube praised this wave of cooperation. Many people even said that this may be the beginning of the recovery of the NFT market. After all, the transaction volume of NFTs has been falling all the way in the past year. Suddenly, there is such a big news. No wonder everyone's eyes are bright. In fact, original NFTs on Telegram are not new. As early as January this year, Plush Pepe debuted, and Snoop Dogg can be regarded as taking over and continuing to stir up the heat.
USDC, is the integration just a smokescreen? What is the real goal of Ant blockchain? The old guns in the cryptocurrency circle join hands with financial giants. Is the BNB listing story about to begin?
Everyone knows Ant Group, right? It is the financial technology subsidiary of Alibaba that relies on Alipay to support half of the sky. It can handle more than $1 trillion in payment flows in a year. Don't think it only does payments. They have quietly planted their flags in the blockchain. Antchain not only does finance and cross-border settlement, but also is thinking about how to turn real-world assets into tokens. At the end of last year, Ant Group also cooperated with Layer 1 blockchain Sui to tokenize ESG assets, such as environmental protection and social responsibility. Recently, it has been particularly concerned about stablecoins. Last month, it was reported that Ant International planned to apply for stablecoin licenses in Singapore and Hong Kong. At the beginning of this month, it also pulled JD.com to lobby the central bank to come up with a stablecoin based on the RMB, which would make the crypto circle stir up again.
HKEX will use cooperation with multiple banks to simplify the process of exchanging cryptocurrency for legal currency, making USDC transactions and payments more convenient and close to the traditional currency experience. This cooperation involves Standard Chartered Bank, DBS Bank, and BankFrick, as well as the integration of Apple Pay and PayPal, supporting users to seamlessly exchange between 12 blockchain networks such as Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, etc. This multi-network layout broadens the use scenarios of USDC and meets diversified transaction needs.
Recently, the media has been saying that Ant International intends to bring all compliant crypto assets such as central bank digital currency and tokenized deposits into the circle of global payment and fund management. As a result, Ant International immediately jumped out and said that there is no such plan at all. When this was released, many people were dumbfounded. But to be honest, there is no smoke without fire. Looking at Ant International's actions in recent years, it has been diving into the deep waters of blockchain. Whether it is using blockchain to support cross-border payments and fund management, or eager to try stablecoins, it can be seen that they are really working hard on blockchain. What new moves will be made next? Let's keep an eye on it together. Controlled by Binance founders Zhao Changpeng and HKEX Labs, is a family office focused on long-term value investing with assets exceeding $10 billion. More than 250 projects around the world have received its seed money, including Vana Network, Tensorplex, these new players. Although Binance has created BNB and BNB Chain, it is very popular, but in fact it has not written much code by itself. It is more like a behind-the-scenes sponsor who pays, promotes, and sets up the stage. The community and foundation are the ones who actually write code and maintain the chain. To put it bluntly, Binance is not the technical father. However, even so, Binance founder Zhao Changpeng is still confident in BNB. In February of this year, he revealed that 98.5% of his investment portfolio is BNB. He is simply a super die-hard fan.
And also for BNB chain, I'm not doing that much. I'm like really just sort of helping others to build on the chain. So I'm more of a facilitator. Some call me a mentor or advisor, but I'm just sort of coordinating people to do more.
Recently, YZ Labs joining hands with established financial institutions in New York 10X Capital. We have formed a big plan and are ready to focus on BNB Treasury Management, BNB Treasury Company to Wall Street. 2004 debuted in 10X Capital. He is a master of the mix of Wall Street veteran and Silicon Valley pioneer in the financial circle, specializing in the listing and financing of digital assets. The head of the company, David Nanda, is a well-known big boss in the circle, and the team behind him is also quite explosive.
Gate.io briefly launched a page on July 7th, disclosing that Pump had a token sale plan of up to $600 million, but the relevant page was quickly removed. Recently, Bybit officially announced that it will publicly sell Pump.Fund's native token Pump from July 12th to July 15th. The total number of tokens is 1 trillion and 150 billion will be issued this time, accounting for 15% of the total, with a price of $0.004 USDT per token.
This round of financing is not just about raising some money. Zhao Changpeng and Binance actually want to upgrade BNB from a gadget that saves handling fees to a financial product that Wall Street can invest in. BNB Treasury Company is not only responsible for reserves, but may also come up with funds, derivatives, and even securitized products linked to BNB, making BNB look more high-end and more compliant, and attracting hot money from Wall Street. A calm, super wallet, and a passionate listing promoter, the BNB Treasury Company listing script seems to have been written. However, if it relies too much on the Binance exchange, US regulators will not sit idly by. But for Zhao Changpeng, who has already stepped on the sewing machine in the United States, this kind of regulatory game has long been accustomed to it. After all, Binance has emerged from the global regulatory storm.
The latest news is that the issuance of TRC20 USDT has increased to 81.6 billion. Setting a new record. Since the beginning of this year, the Tron network has cumulatively issued nearly 22 billion USDT. According to CoinGecko data, the total market value of cryptocurrencies exceeded $3.7 trillion with a 24-hour increase of 1.2% and a 24-hour total trading volume of $201.5285 billion. As of July 11th, Strategy holds 597,325 bitcoins, with a total purchase cost of approximately $42.4 billion and an average cost of $70,982 per bitcoin. Based on the current Bitcoin price of $116,291, Strategy's floating profit is approximately $27.064 billion. Robinhood launched ETH and SOL staking services for U.S. users on July 10th. Users only need to hold crypto assets worth $1 to receive staking rewards. In an interview, U.S. President Trump made it clear that the United States plans to impose comprehensive tariffs on all countries that have not yet imposed tariffs, and the tax rate may be set at 15% or 20%.
Okay, the above is the main content of today's program. Our channel focuses on valuable news in the currency circle, chain circle, and mining circle. There are news information and in-depth special reports. If you think our channel is valuable, you're welcome to forward and follow it. You can also become our member and receive the Member Wealth Code from Monday to Friday. Let us become rich together and add a zero to our assets in the bull market. See you tomorrow.